Starting on pole, and while the cars are headed around the back straightaway, let's have a look at our starting lineup as we get ready to go racing for GRIDLIFE GT. As the field heads down the backstretch, Matan Rosenberg on pole alongside Chris DeLucia in the number 40 car. The 325 IS will be alongside. Then it's A.J. Hartman and Eric Meadows in row number 2, followed up by Jack Haddix, who's making his first start with us. Charles Spence in the Lotus Elise starts in 6th place. Alex Peitz in the number 6 rolls off in 7th. Then Gary Wimble in the number 11 is in 8th. And then Anthony Scafuto and Jordan Wisely are in 9th and 10th. And then rounding out the field here is Eric Jensen. I think Christian Aranha's in there too, so we'll see him on track. I think he made the grid just in time with his yellow and black Corvette. So Jacob, 12 to 15 minute race. Or did he make the grid? I don't actually see him out there, do you? No, do not. Oh yeah, he is. He's way in the back there. Yeah. All right, so we do have him on track. No worries there.
Just came into frame at the last second for us.
12 to 15 minute race. These are frantic. Power to weight racing, so you're going to see V8s, inline 6s, V6s, turbochargers, natural aspiration, aero, no aero, everything in between. If you want to learn more about this, head over to grid.life and learn how you can get your car into GRIDLIFE GT, GRIDLIFE's newest wheel-to-wheel class, and it continues to get stronger each and every event this year. Some newcomers here this weekend like Jack Haddix in the 330. Jacob, I'm excited for this. And Sean Bassett has made the grid there at the back.
Yeah, very, very excited for this. I think this track really, really opens up a lot of opportunities for this class. I mean, there's a ton of power that can be put down, and this is the first time we're going to see him go head-to-head here at Road Atlanta.
Green flag, and we're underway. GRIDLIFE GT Race 1. What a start by DeLucia on the outside. He's going to pull ahead of Rosenberg into turn 1, but Rosenberg later on the brakes, and he'll be side by side through the tight confines of Road Atlanta's first turn.
Yeah, thankfully everybody keeping it real clean, but Rosenberg just kind of playing a bit of a game of chicken with DeLucia. I mean, it's a very bold move. I was shocked to see DeLucia trying to make that move from the outside, but keeps it tidy and has to tuck back in underneath.
These two cars, it's like one's HO scale and one's N. It's like if you're a model railroader.
You just make a train
I
reference.
did. But look at this. Here comes the Lotus Elise down the hill past Jack Haddix. It's going to get tight at turn 5. Watch the curbing there. And Charles Spence is through, but here's where Haddix's car should have the legs. Rosenberg well out in front now.
Yeah, I don't expect that to change, to be honest, unless something crazy changes in that vehicle, because Rosenberg out front, he talked about how confident he was in that interview earlier on, and that is a scary thing to have, is a confident Matan Rosenberg at a track that has this many straightaways.
Yeah, and the other car to watch, Christian Aranha, started in 11th, but if he has his issue resolved, that car is mighty quick as well and was actually the dominant force for a lot of our first event at South Carolina last month. We'll see what he can do with the first couple of laps. DeLucia's not letting Rosenberg get away too much. And remember, DeLucia's car was really good on the straights at CMP.
Yep.
So long as he can keep pace with Rosenberg in the corners, I don't think that 40 is going to drop too far back, at least initially.
Well, we saw that even off the start, that he was able to almost roll him off the get-go. I think Rosenberg still had a really good start, but DeLucia's car just puts on so much power. Oh, steps it out nice and wide through 12. So he's trying to, but he's going to lose a bit of time through there, as now that first lap underway. We'll start to understand exactly what that spread looks like, as everybody now in their running order. The other one that I think is going to be interesting is going to be Hartman. We know with the amount of laps that he put down that car is totally fine. It's just hot running all the time. So maybe that's where he's hoping to make up with this, is knowing that the car can lay down 16 laps without a problem.
Saw a little puff of smoke out the right front tire. That's how much compression the car is under. I've actually ridden in this car with Matan at Laguna Seca, and recall back at turn 6 that he would have a big puff of smoke out the right front. That's just how low he's running the car and how much tire he's trying to fit under the Toyo Proxazar. Battle for second heating up, though. Hartman chasing DeLucia.
This is what I mean. I think Hartman's going to go for that marathon. You know, it's the tortoise and the hare right now. DeLucia's car incredibly fast. Obviously, Hartman's is as well. But just knowing how much time he put in, we see a yellow. Okay. Saw a flag in a truck. Oh. What was that? Was it Bassett?
Yeah, Bassett didn't come back around to finish the first lap, so it's possible. I don't think he got a lap in qualifying either.
I don't think so. So back to a mechanical issue there, but looks like they're free to go racing. Bassett pulled off in a good spot to be tucked back behind the wall.
Hartman's car is so different than DeLucia's. It's basically the opposite method, right? Instead of just putting a massive engine inside, he's going with the aero. So you see on that backstretch how much time DeLucia drives away from him. But then you bring him around to the first sector, and that's really where Hartman's car comes alive, and you can lean on the aerodynamics.
Hartman's car looked so stuck to the track. When he came through, you could see him almost trying to force the car to step out, but it was so planted. Just little wiggles. You can watch the rear wing, and that'll give you an idea of how he's trying to move the car around, because that wing will sway just a little bit left and right.
Charles Spence in the number 9 Lotus chasing Haddix. They had that great fun. Ooh, big wiggle over the curbs. He is definitely not shy about using those rumble strips there. What a great looking car, though.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful looking car. And same thing, take a look at the gap on the front splitter, and that'll give you a really good idea as to what the car is doing and how much suspension travel he's got. He's not grinding it a bunch, but a few drivers opting for some softer springs to be able to go across some of these big rumble strips a little bit better, as well as take up the downforce that's going to be happening through some of these sections. Really plant the car.
Charles Spence again running with the Black Flag Sarcoma team. There is a yellow, actually, Sector 2. And I think for Bassett's car, he's off to the right at corner exit, so it shouldn't cause us to go full course or anything, but there is a yellow over there, which means no passing into turn 7. It's not really a place you want to make a pass anyway. You want to do it going into 10, and Aranha from the back of the field past Spence in that yellow and black Corvette.
Yeah, Aranha just using all that grunt to get by. Now, Spence might be able to pick it up in a few other spots, but I have a feeling that Aranha is going to stretch the legs pretty heavily, especially as they exit through 11. He's going to do a great job of just getting on the throttle and kind of getting past that little Lotus.
And now Aranha is going to get right to the rear bumper of Jack Haddix here. We'll see if Haddix can make that BMW real wide, or if he's going to let Aranha get to the inside. He'll do the latter. And great Aaron Lichty, one of the members of our paddock, has said that the worst thing that happens by leaving someone space is that you have a good race. And that's kind of the philosophy of racing here at Grid Life, is this is all for fun at the end of the day.
Yeah, nobody wants to be going home on a trailer.
Yeah, and if you're going defensive, I mean, you have every right to do that, but, isn't passing the fun part?
yeah, and listen, if you're going to go defensive in the last lap or two. Right now, it just finds your running order, and nobody wants to go out in 3 laps in.
Yeah, and I think also folks will know that Christian didn't get a representative time in qualifying, and there's not really much point in holding up a car that you know is going to be significantly faster, but he might drive up to the podium here because he's got Meadows in sight, and then it's a long ways up to Hartman, but he might get there with 9 minutes left on the board.
Yeah, it's completely possible. He's got so much speed in that car, and with that the big rear wing as well, he's able to pick up a decent amount of downforce through some of the higher speed sections. When we really get into the low speed corners, I mean, you're going to see that Hartman's car really comes alive through there.
Love that speed cam on the backstretch as these cars climb north of 140 miles an hour. And see a little splitter vibration there. The rub pucks getting their workout. Some of these drivers will put titanium pucks under the splitter to keep it from bottoming out and stalling. Look at how much Kirby used at the exit of 11. Aranha's on a mission. And he's got Meadows. He's going to tuck underneath at the inside of 12. That was dicey. In trouble for Haddix. He's slow at turn 12 as both Wisely and Spence have gone through.
Yeah, not entirely sure what happened there, but Aranha, that was a very, very bold move to cut in on the inside there. So we see Haddix getting past.
There's Wisely in the number 7. That is the KTM Tuners Hyundai Veloster N. This car has seen significant improvement as they continue to tweak on it. And Wisely has touring car racing experience, so he's right at home in this thing. You see him jumping that curb right at home in a front-wheel drive TC car.
Yep, just enjoying his time out there, and that front splitter really getting a workout. It's going to be paper thin by the time this lap is finished up.
I love the grit of this team. They're all the way out of California, so they're sending these cars on nationwide journeys. And sometimes with cars that are unique like these N-Series Hyundais, they couldn't get a replacement part at Road America last year. They replaced some kind of trailing link or something with a part from Tractor Supply. You
Perfect.
make do.
Yep. Yeah, it's necessity breeds ingenuity, that's for sure. And racing is kind of the home of necessity. So you love to hear it, just to get back out there and try and throw a lap down. It looks like Matan Rosenberg really, really stretching that lead out.
Yeah, it just continues to set really solid laps. And again, this series is still young. It debuted at Gingerman Raceway Midwest Festival last year. And as time goes on, we're going to see the same competition pickup that we saw in IBOC GLTC. It's going to take a couple of years before the builds really kind of find the limit of the rules and start sticking there. But in the meantime, it's going to be fun to watch new drivers, new builds come in and figure out, how do I make a car go fast under this particular rule set?
It'd be interesting if we see a bit of a rule set change going into next year to maybe not nerf, but bring the pack a little bit closer together in a few sections. So, yeah, not entirely sure what they'll do. That's not my department.
Yeah, there is a department for it.
Yeah.
And they do a lot of work to try to, to get ahead of the drivers, and theoretically, what's the limit in capability there. But, there are certainly a lot of young builds here, too, that will take some time. I think, admittedly, some of the drivers will say, I have a lot of testing left to do. And so it's also tricky to throw a bunch of things at a rule book before the series has really matured enough to where those changes are actually affecting the running order, and it's not just the drivers building them.
Yeah, I think that's a solid point. But every rule has a story, as they say. But right now, the big story is Michelin Rosenberg just absolutely crushing everybody. 12-second gap on the first lap. I mean, there was a little bit of battling there from DeLucia and Hartman, but not really enough to justify how big that gap is. It's just Rosenberg, he's got the setup, he's got the headspace, he's feeling confident, and it's going to be a near impossible task if his running is clean.
Yeah, I think with Matan's experience, right, he was the champion of IBOC GLTC last year. So bringing that championship pedigree in, a team that already knows how to get the job done in our wheel-to-wheel racing series. Contrast that to DeLucia, who's new to GridLife as of last year. Hartman, same story there. Christian Aranja has been around for a little while, but not quite as experienced in the wheel-to-wheel side as Rosenberg within our paddock. And then you've got, Meadows has been around for a while. Wimble has as well, but just different builds, different choices. DeLucia had a big tank slapper there coming down the hill.
That's going to be tough. That is going to be tough. Hopefully no damage taken, because it looks like Hartman is not letting him really go anywhere. It's kind of a back and forth. Unfortunately, we don't have the sector timings up with this race, but I bet you they're a lot closer through a few of these sections. And then DeLucia, as soon as he can stretch his legs and really put the power down, he's able to walk away a little bit from Hartman, who's got just a bunch more drag in these high-speed sections.
And you look at the best lap delta, you see about a 1/10.5 slower than DeLucia, but that's not a lot.
No, it's not a lot at all.
So, previous lap might be a different story, but there's a look at the 1993 BMW 325 IS and 1999 Ford Mustang that Hartman has as DeLucia jumps onto the brakes again. This was such a new build. The car was the same from last year, but it's an LS under the hood now, compared to BMW engine he had last year that blew up while he had driven all the way from New York all the way to California. And mid-weekend had that engine expire, and he said, all right, no more of this. Trouble for Christian Aranja. He has come into the pit lane in the yellow and black car. And that was the vehicle running in 4th place. So that's going to promote Wisely and Meadows up a little bit further into the top 5.
He had such a good charge, and maybe just overworking that car a little bit, that could be the case. Oh, man.
Feeling some pressure perhaps from Hartman to get a little bit more aggressive on that turn 3 curb.
Yeah, DeLucia just trying to pick up time wherever he can. Understanding where he can pick up.
Not confidence inspiring when you have the car kind of walk around on you there. And Hartman is closing in this section. I just don't think he's got quite enough pace on the other end of the racetrack. Here's a couple of GM-powered machines, the C8 Corvette Alex Pites and the Z28 Camaro of Anthony Scafuto. This is a battle for 8th.
That's definitely a fun one. A little bit of a timeless battle. Corvette always kind of getting that front lead. It was always the pinnacle. You're never supposed to have a Camaro faster than a Corvette. That could never happen, but it might happen here today.
Pites has been working on this car for a while. He's tried different aero configurations and things. He had issues with traction control at CMP. Previously was stuck in limp mode at Lime Rock Park last year. So just these newer cars, you have to figure out how the electronics are going to get along when you start modifying them beyond what they were designed to do. But look at Scafuto, a 1/10 of a lap better fast lap than Pites.
Yeah, looking really solid. Those new Corvettes are absolutely stunning, and the big conversation about is it still a Corvette if it's not front engine? It's still a Corvette in my books, that's for sure.
Yeah, it definitely changed the proportions of the car.
Yeah, but it was time.
You could argue that the Corvette was always supposed to be the everyman supercar.
And this is closer to that than it's ever been.
Right, and that was the natural evolution over the years as technology got better, and they sort of maxed out what was possible on the front engine rear drive platform. And nowhere is that more true than watching Alan Patton, for example, take a C7 to the absolute limit. But that's, imagine that car mid-engine. I mean, you're going to go even faster. White flag looks to be out, and that means Matan Rosenberg is going to be finishing up next time by. So here he comes down the backstretch towards turn 10. and he is absolutely running away with it here.
Yeah, this is just very, very impressive that he's able to just continuously pick up almost a second per lap all the way through this race. So he's not slowing down either. You know, some drivers may take a moment to grab a breath and coast out parts of this, but for Rosenberg, he wants the biggest gap possible. He could basically shut the car down at this point and coast over the finish line and still be able to get the win. So it's a fantastic run, an incredible drive there from Matan Rosenberg, and it's going to be big things for him this weekend.
Matan Rosenberg wins race 1 of GridLife's special stage at Road Atlanta, and it wasn't even close. That was a pretty sizable advantage, but, you know, this is part of the deal, right? I mean, Matan's got so much experience, that car is really well set up, but he will have to pass a dyno test and the scales post-race. As always, results are provisional. Chris DeLucia comes across the stripe. Here he comes, checkered flag. Second place for him, picks up 21 points. AJ Hartman will pick up 18 in third place. And then it'll be a little more time until we see Jordan Wisely come down the hill in the KDM Tuners car in the number 7 Veloster N, and then Charles Spence in the number 9. And just a moment ago, this was Jack Haddix, and he just got into the tire bundles at the exit of turn 3. And did he get back going? He might have, yeah. Nice light tap, though. That's good. And Wisely had his own spin on the last lap of the race just a moment ago at turn 6. Did he save it? Nicely done.
That was a big save. That's really tough.
But he did end up dropping a couple of spots. That put Spence, Wimble, Wisely in 4th, 5th, and 6th. No, he didn't finish. He is stuck at turn 7 exit, unfortunately, so he will not get back to the checkers. That is going to promote Scafuto, his teammate, past him.
Yeah, a very interesting way to wrap this out. Everyone just trying to have the best possible time that they could and move up the order, but that is not going to be the case for a few drivers who just got a little ambitious when it came to the final lap.
There's a look at your race results. Matan Rosenberg, the Vibrant Performance vehicle, goes to the top of the board by 23 seconds. Chris DeLucia, Hartman, Spence, and Wimble, your top 5.
Yeah, that's a crazy run for Matan Rosenberg, and man, it's going to be tough to take him down. After that, Alex Peitz, Scafuto, Wisely, Haddock, Aranha, who did pull off pretty early after having an incredible charge, and then Meadows, Jensen, and Bassett. Bassett not getting out there, not completing his first lap.
Yeah, Jensen had some mechanicals at CMP. There might be something else that's causing him gremlins. Let's have a look at the highlights from the first race of the weekend for GridLife GT. And Matan Rosenberg, from the start, it looked like DeLucia might have something for him, but as soon as he got clear, he just did what Matan does best and just get that right foot to the floor. And wow, that was a big tank slapper there for DeLucia, really trying to carry speed down the hill.
Yeah, he was trying for it. I mean, even off the go, it looked like it was going to be good. And there is Aranha, who was trying to make a pass there with Spence in tow, and there it was, and it looked good. It looked like he was going to be fighting for a top spot at this race, but unfortunately, a little bit later on, wasn't able to keep it on track, and maybe we'll get a bit of a report as to what happened on that one. And DeLucia cutting corners left and right with Hartman chasing him down, and a car that seems like it was built for endurance this weekend.
That car's really well set up, seems to be good, but DeLucia's car, a rocket ship down the straightaways, good on the brakes, but only second best in this one. But he's definitely got that car running better and more consistently than it did at CMP, so he continued around to finish in second. But Matan Rosenberg, the race winner here for the first race of the weekend in GridLife's GT Series. Plenty more racing this weekend, but he picks up 25 points plus 3 for qualifying, and we'll have more right after this short break.